The United States started a war that destroyed 30 to 40% of Gulf refining capacity and created the largest oil shock in recorded history. Oil hit $110 per barrel, gas prices are climbing past $4 nationally in the US, over $5 in California. The IEA called it the greatest global energy and food security challenge in history. And the response from the Europeans was genius. They're building mini solar farms on their balconies and taking energy independence into their own hands. I'm Elle, I have a PhD in computer science, and I track patterns in how geopolitical crises reshape economic systems. The data coming out of Europe right now shows something remarkable. While Trump scrambles with his 10th "we're winning" claim, European consumers are quietly executing the most effective energy strategy: stop depending on volatile oil markets entirely. Octopus Energy, the UK's biggest energy supplier, reported solar inquiries 27% higher than average the week the war started. E.ON in Germany saw solar installation demand roughly double compared to recent months, not 5% growth, not 10%, doubled. Balcony solar coupled with batteries has surged across Germany. These are plug-and-play systems apartment dwellers can install themselves without waiting for landlords or permits. Sarah Kukovets, an entrepreneur, captured the shift perfectly. She says, "This makes solar feel suddenly reachable for everyone. I love how it turns something complex into something as simple as plugging in a device. Suddenly, energy independence feels practical." Patent attorney Ed Clark chimed in as well, another quote, "This sounds amazing. I'll need to design a contraption to attach them to the sunny front of my house." So the technology exists. Plug-in solar systems in Europe can cover up to 20% of a household's annual electricity consumption. In Germany, a single 400-watt module that previously cost 300–500 euros now sells for 200. Advanced systems with batteries run about 1,500 euros. Germany already has about 780,000 registered balcony power plants, with estimates suggesting the real number could reach 4 million when you count unregistered systems. Matthew Clayton, CEO of UK-based Thrive Renewables, explained the strategic value. I'm quoting him here. "If you've got a solar roof on your home and you've got a battery, then depending on how much energy you can generate, you are substantially insulated from importing electricity." Substantially insulated. While Trump's war sends oil prices through the roof, Europeans with solar and batteries just plug it at home and keep going. The demand isn't just solar. UK car site AutoTrader recorded leads for new electric cars up nearly 30% since the war started. In Denmark, for example, used EV searches on Bilbasen jumped by as much as 80,000 per week, more than what the site experienced after Russia invaded Ukraine. Jan Lang, a marketing executive at Bilbasen, noted Danish consumers are very cost-focused. They go for the car type which is the cheapest, and it is the EV. Some UK heat pump installers are seeing increased demand, with existing customers seeking efficiency boosts and pre-booked customers asking to move installation dates forward. The UK government pledged to make it easier for consumers to install plug-in solar panels, introducing new standards and tweaking regulations so panels reach the market as soon as possible. If you want frameworks for identifying when centralized systems break down and decentralized alternatives emerge, and how to position yourself before these transitions accelerate, check out my book, Awake: The Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Self-Lies. It's available in ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can read the first chapter for free using the description links below. The contrast with America's position couldn't be sharper. The US launched a war claiming it would neutralize Iran's nuclear program and protect Gulf energy infrastructure, but instead, Iran's retaliation destroyed 30 to 40% of Gulf refining capacity, creating an 11 million barrel per day shortage. Trump has claimed victory roughly 10 times so far. Each time, more strikes follow, more infrastructure gets destroyed, and oil prices climb higher. European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde had to assure the continent the ECB has options for dealing with the inflation shock. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni rushed to Algeria for emergency gas talks. We have separate videos on these elements. The IEA coordinated a 400 million barrel release from strategic reserves, the largest in the agency's 50-year history, and oil prices surged 70% afterwards because markets concluded that it was not enough. But here's what the data really shows us. Germany now gets 63% of electricity from renewable sources. In the year 2000, it was just 6%. German industries consume 1/5 less energy per unit produced compared to 2016 to 2019, positioning them better to weather the current crisis. In 2024, BASF opened a chemical plant in Germany using only renewable energy. The chemical industry has particularly high energy usage, so this represents a significant breakthrough. Lara Hayim, a solar analyst at Bloomberg NEF, explained the pattern. I'm quoting here. "We've consistently seen fuel price shocks and an unreliable grid accelerate small-scale solar adoption. In the past, we saw it in markets like Europe, Pakistan, and Lebanon, and we're likely to see it again." The strategic vulnerability for the United States is the following. America launched a war that was supposed to secure access to Gulf oil, but instead it accelerated the global transition away from oil dependence. Every European household that installs balcony solar is one less customer for oil imports. Every EV purchased is permanent demand destruction for gasoline. Every heat pump installed is one less home burning natural gas. Kingsmill Bond, an energy strategist at UK think tank Amber, framed it very clearly. Another quote here. "We are in the middle of the second energy shock in the 2020s. It will flow into people's decisions on what energy-hungry devices they buy. And those decisions are flowing overwhelmingly towards electrification and renewable energy. The pattern extends beyond Europe as well. In Pakistan, the founder of V-Lectra electric motorcycles expects battery-powered two-wheelers to account for 10 to 15% of the market in 2026, up from less than 1% 2 years ago. Electric rickshaw maker Tesla Motors sold out its March inventory. The Philippine state-owned pension fund started offering loans of up to 500,000 pesos for home solar panels, and meanwhile, Trump posts on Truth Social claiming negotiations are happening, Iran denies talks exist, more strikes follow, oil prices climb back up, the destroyed refineries will take 3 years to rebuild, and every week that passes, more households across Europe and Asia install systems that make them permanently less dependent on the oil markets Trump's war destroyed. Europe didn't choose this path because of climate ideology. They chose it because Trump made oil unreliable and expensive. An Ipsos poll found 84% of British people are worried about the war's impact on fuel and energy prices, in line with concern levels at the start of the Ukraine conflict in 2022. The difference is Europe learned from 2022. They built out renewable capacity, they created regulatory frameworks for plug-in solar, they made EVs accessible, and when the next crisis hit, created by America this time, they had options. Consider what this means from a strategic standpoint. For decades, U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East operated on a very simple premise: control the oil, control the global economy. American military presence in the Gulf doesn't appear to have been so much about democracy or human rights, rather more about ensuring oil flow to markets. That leverage depended on everyone needing oil. But Trump's war is destroying that leverage faster than any climate activists could. Every percentage point increase in European solar adoption is a percentage point decrease in U.S. geopolitical influence. When Germans can power their homes with balcony panels that cost 200 euros, Saudi Arabia's oil exports matter less. When Danish commuters drive EVs charged overnight on renewable electricity, OPEC's production decisions lose impact. The Pentagon can station carrier groups in the Gulf. It can spend billions on bases and logistics, but it cannot force Europeans to keep buying oil when they have cheaper, more reliable alternatives literally hanging on their balconies. America built an entire security architecture around fossil fuel dependency and then launched a war that convinced millions of people to opt out of that system entirely. The irony is almost poetic, isn't it? The war meant to secure energy dominance is essentially accelerating energy independence. The United States spent decades building military dominance in the Gulf to secure oil flows, then started a war that destroyed the infrastructure they were protecting. Europe's response was essentially build balcony solar farms and cut oil out of the equation entirely. For more on how America's strategic position is slowly crumbling, check out the video on your screen right now about how US markets are crashing from this Iran war. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.